What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 8 of Slightly Less Than Perfect. And as usual, me, Mark. I got the rebellious Ryan and the bejeweled Breezy with me here today. So here we are, and we're ready to get right into it. I got an interesting out of pocket today. It's Valentine's Day thing. I know that was a little bit ago, but this one caught my eye. So, am I out of pocket for sending my girlfriend too many Valentine's Day flowers and making her sister's husband look bad?
No.
Okay. For initial impressions?
Absolutely. How could you send your girl flowers when that other dude ain't doing shit, allegedly?
Man, not so allegedly. All right.
Yep.
All right. So the dude gives a little brief explanation of like his situation beforehand. So he says, to explain where I'm coming from, I need to establish two things. He's like, one, I have a highly paid job that often requires me to drop everything and travel at a moment's notice. It's infuriating sometimes, but I get so well paid that I've learned to live with it. Yeah. He's like, two, my girlfriend loves flowers more than anything. He's like, I get a lot of girls love flowers, but they're like her favorite thing in the world. She literally makes me stop the car if we're driving somewhere and she sees a bunch of flowers and she just wants to take a picture. All right. So early in the relationship, I had to miss something very important for us, and to make it up for, I sent her 3 dozen roses. She loved it, and probably as a joke, she told me that anytime that I messed up or I would be leaving abruptly like that, I expect 3 dozen roses. So as a halfway as a joke and halfway as like a thing in our relationship, I've been doing it. And we've been together for 3 years now, and I've always sent 3 dozen roses without even thinking about it. Just a tradition that we both love. Okay, on to the dilemma at hand. My GF got some bad news about a family member's health and headed back to her hometown a couple weeks ago. I couldn't join. Her 2 sisters came back with their husbands. Valentine's Day came around, and although it wasn't my fault that we couldn't be together, I still felt it was my duty to do what I normally do. So I sent her 3 dozen roses, candy, and a stuffed animal. The day of, I got an alert from FedEx saying that the shipment was going to be late. So I freaked out. And then I thought, like, shit, she won't get any flowers or the stuff she wanted on Valentine's Day. So he called a local flower shop and resent a similar gift: 3 dozen flowers, teddy bear, and some candy. Turns out FedEx actually figured it out, delivered it, so she got the doubled up gifts, the chocolates, the teddy bear, the cards, everything. She joked that I had to raise the bar now and raise the expectation, so this is what I need to get from now on. He's like, all jokes aside, I can tell she really appreciated the trouble I went through. The next day, I heard from her sister's husbands they were furious with me, saying that I made them both look awful. Turns out, this is the funny part, turns out that one of them bought his wife a leftover bouquet of half-dead tulips, and the other one didn't get his wife anything at all. I guess they both were going to use the commotion as an excuse not to get their wives anything. My girlfriend ended up sharing her roses with both of her sisters, so they can the 2 of them can feel special as well. But clearly, they were for me. Mm-hmm. My instinct was to take a victory lap, but my girlfriend's mom and dad called me, explained that they thought I should apologize. While they appreciate me always making romantic gestures, I can afford to do these things while the other daughter's husbands can't. They see where things are going and assume we were able to we'll be a family soon, that I should take the high road and apologize. But I really don't want to, because it's like kind of messed up that I would have to apologize for something I did for my girl when the other 2 dudes just chose to do what they do. So, what's he out of pocket?
Man, there's a lot of gaslighting going on in these last couple out of pockets you've been sharing, bro.
Like, I love the gaslighting ones, because this is like, it's so interesting to me to see, like, because I mean, all these ones, like, I like to think that like the people that are writing them in are like around about our age, like the age where you're old enough to tell your parents to like F off, or like, you know, that they're being a certain way, but like, you know, or I'm an adult, I can do my own thing. And so it's always interesting to see like all these old school people like, nah, man, you shouldn't be overdoing it for other people might have to do that. It's like, this is our relationship. Like,
yeah. Either way it goes, it's weird. Like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering exactly how does the parents expect that apology to sound? Like, if they were going to apologize for the situation, what wording what they use. Like, it was very rude of me to buy my girl flowers instead of buying your girl, I don't know, some half dead tulips. Not a damn thing. You know, some pocket lint. I don't know. What did the other dudes get for their girls? Like,
you said it. You said it. It was the half dead tulips, and the other dude didn't give him nothing.
Lint.
Yeah, he didn't give her pocket lint.
Dang, man, he wasn't even trying.
Didn't try. Didn't give her anything.
Like, if there was an attempt, like, you could at least say, yeah, there was an attempt. But like, to me, it's the gaslighting, because it's like, it feels culty to me. Like, how is everybody around this man telling him he did wrong? I'm sure his wife is on his side, but the whole family's like, you did wrong. Why?
That's what I was trying to figure out, because it's like, for example, for me and Soph, like, we don't really, like, Valentine's Day isn't like a big holiday for us. Yeah. So we usually agree that we usually get something small. So like, we usually buy each other like our favorite candies. And like, you know, if I buy her like a big box of chocolates, that's like what she wants. So like, I went above and beyond.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like, every relationship is different. Like, if your girl likes earrings are her thing, like, you can probably get her some earrings, some clairs, and she'll be happy if they're just like earrings that she will like. It's like, bro, you didn't get shit. You got her some half dead tulips. You could have at least sprung for a couple roses. And like, I get it. Like, if you ain't got balling like that, it's like, but then find what works for your relationship. You can't get mad at another man's relationship, because it's like me being like, dog, man, you know what I'm saying? Like LeBron brought his wife a Ferrari for Christmas, for her birthday, for Valentine's Day, man. Fuck LeBron. It's like, what sense? Well, how stupid do I sound? It's like, yeah, you know, can I buy my wife a Ferrari for Valentine's Day? No, but she wants chocolates. I can give her them chocolates. She gonna be just as happy as LeBron's wife is with that Ferrari.
Yeah, my whole thing is the hating aspect of it. Like,
so hating.
You could do so many things. You know, you could do so many other things. You could rib them about it. You could be, you know, if they were, because I was gonna ask you if they were joking about it, but by the end of it, I can tell they weren't joking.
Nah, they're super serious about it.
So that aspect of it is killing me right now. It's like, why so mad? Like, he's just doing for his, so you should do for your. This should make you want to do better. Honestly,
and that's any situation I've ever been like that. Like with a girl, like even outside, like before me and Sophie together. Like, it's how you internalize it. Because I mean, it's real beta mentality to just be like, oh, this dude did something for his girl, I can't do that, so I need to go be mad at him. It's like, no, bro, like, find a way to do something better. Like, you don't need to be exactly like him. You're a different person. Your girl's a different person than his girl is. It's like, do something that y'all both can enjoy, or like pick something that, like, you can get her that she will enjoy. Like, don't be looking at the next man talking about like, yeah, you're doing too much for your girl over there, bro. I'm mad about it. It's like, you sound stupid.
Hot take though, the wife is out of pocket.
I was hoping that maybe she was just playing along with this, right? Because like, I think it was a joke. Look, not the first three, like the 3 dozen. I think that was like a kind of like a halfway joking, halfway like, you know, it's kind of like a traditional type thing. I feel like I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt here. I'm pretty sure this is just like an in relationship in joke, you know. Like, you can joke around with your partner, like, oh, if you mess up, you better give me 3 dozen roses.
I ain't talking about that.
Oh,
you just want to give it to her sisters?
That's out of pocket.
Oh,
so I thought about that,
sisters.
But I'm like, she at some point she probably just like felt bad to her. Like, she's looking at her sisters with her 6 dozen fucking roses, and her sisters are over there. Probably kind of butthurt looking at their husbands like, you pieces of shit. She's kind of like, you want some?
Yeah, you want some from my ivory tower? You want some of these rose petals from up here?
Or, bruh, in the exact same breath, she could go like, oh, my roses, you can go on with your pocket limping tulips.
I guess it depends on how that conversation went.
True, but
she
the action
can't win for losing.
I guess that's the whole point, because like her doing that actually makes them look bad. Not him, not the husband giving those flowers, but her like being like, "Oh, y'all don't have anything? Here's 2 roses for you."
Like, giving me an orphan food can make selfish society look bad, but I'm just saying her sisters didn't have anything and she had too much, so she was like, yo, this will make you happy. I know it will. Have some of these roses because they're pretty.
But what does it mean though? You're giving your sisters roses that came from your man. that were for you. So
it means a harem. What?
You just said it.
Spell it out.
Said it. I think, I don't know, man, because like I thought about that too, and I was just like, yeah, because it depends on what their sisterhood is like. Because like I've seen sisters like just be catty bitches to each other, but then sisters be like loving or like everything in between. So it's like, but I think the most out of pocket was the two husbands though, because it's like, bro, y'all could have, you could have did literally. Because my thing too is like, just for being a married man, it's like some family member is like in a bad way somehow, some shape or form, and it's Valentine's Day. Like, to me, you should double down on like whatever you were thinking about doing. Like, you know, it's like because obviously like Valentine's Day was like a lovey-dovey holiday anyway, and it's like it sounds like the wives like are fans of Valentine's Day. So like few things. One, your wife's a fan of Valentine's Day. Two, someone is injured or something happened to them, and like they're going to have to, you know, deal with that, whatever that means, if it's a funeral or if it's like just staying in the hospital, whatever. And it's like you couldn't even have the decency to get her flowers to say like, you know, I'm sorry for your loss, or like, you know, we have to come out here and be, you know, deal with this or whatever, like, you know, to get her something, a little nice something for that. It's like bruh, yo, you took every opportunity you had as a husband and you fumbled the bag.
I will say, you know, this story, it is coming from the mouth of the husband.
True.
So, no matter what, there will be a little bit of bias in it, even if it's just positional bias, where he only knows what's been revealed to him.
Yeah.
I will say he did say that he has a very high-paying job. So, I'm saying the fact that he says this probably means that he's making more than the rest of the family is, one way or another. It could be possible that the other man just didn't have the means to do, you know, something nice for their partners.
But that's
on Valentine's.
That's when I say, like, even if you don't have the money and like you need to do something.
Yeah, I say if you don't have the means to do something nice, you know, to buy something for your partner, just learn how to cook and cook them a really nice meal. Just show that you're trying to do something for them. If you just do your best at making something for them to consume, even if you can't do anything else, you'll at least shown that this is a special day for you and you want to share it with them.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting at, because I'm like, I just don't feel like they dude went to fucking Kroger, found the tulips in the front for like $3.95, ripped the tag off, and was like, Happy Valentine's Day.
It does feel like that. So, like, from the way it was described, just a bunch of half-dead tulips, it's like, you know, you could have cooked her a burger instead.
Yeah. A little heart-shaped ketchup on it.
Yeah, you know.
See, you know what I'm saying?
Give her some rice. Say, I love you, and ketchup.
That would have done it until work the next day when she heard everybody else talking about what they...
I mean, it would have bought you a day to
It would have bought you a day
to figure something else out.
Yeah.
It would have been better than the pocket lint.
It would have been better. I'm thinking there's more to the story in regards to that, though. Because I think... What I'm hoping is that they're young. I'm hoping they're super young.
That is true. We don't have their side of the story at all.
True, we don't have that. But I'd like to think that, like, if it's two daughters... I'm thinking, too, that she's got to be the youngest daughter, too. Like,
which one?
The one with the getting the flowers. Because it's just like, to me, just adds an extra layer of why it will be like this.
Fair enough, you know, the youngest doing
because the two old doors are older, they're married already, they've been married for X amount of years, then like younger sister got the boyfriend with the high paying job, whatever, we're treating her all magical, whatever, and then other sister kind of like, the husbands are like, oh, look at this dude, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. I'm guessing the one who didn't get anything, either they aren't so deep into their relationship, either that, or they have somewhat of...
I mean, they're married, so I don't know what the fuck...
Oh, they are husband? It is husband and wife?
It's
not two husbands.
The one with the getting the roses and stuff is boyfriend and girlfriend.
But
the other two are married.
The
other two sisters are married, confirmed.
Wow. I can only imagine that if you aren't getting your girl... I mean, let's all agree Valentine's Day is a bullshit holiday.
Yeah, we agree.
Let's get that out the way.
But that's what I say. Like, it depends. Whatever if your partner likes the holiday,
that's the thing.
You have to like the holiday too.
You have to do something for your partner. It's mandatory. Even if it is a bullshit holiday, if other people are getting stuff and your partner is getting, unless you guys have agreed that this isn't something we do, then you're gonna have to make an effort to get something. But I'm thinking, like, if he didn't get anything at all, and they're married, then that has to be
something else, right?
Either they hate each other, or they just don't do that. They just don't do holiday. Maybe they agree holidays are bullshit. That's the only thing I can see. Like,
but the interesting twist of that though is the parents though, because the parents specifically say like, you make too much money. Everyone else doesn't make money like that, so
they out of pocket.
I know the parents out of pocket, but it's like, so that to me says like, I don't know. The parents are super out of pocket. They shouldn't be saying like, yeah, man, you're treating my daughter too well. My other sons-in-law can't treat the other daughters this well, so chill out, bro.
Parents, especially of the older generation, they've got to sort of just keep the house calm mentality, where they will try to sort of mediate for anything.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When it's like, nah, bro. Sometimes you gotta kick up a storm, like, tear the walls down and rebuild. Man.
I feel like the two husbands have probably discussed the boyfriend a lot previous to this incident. So there's probably some bad blood the boyfriend doesn't know about that had been boiling in the background for who knows how long. And
especially that's another thing that makes me think they're younger, because just what you said there, it's like if they've been married for like, let's say like 4 or 5 years, like they've been together with the family dinners or whatever, they exchange like thoughts and whatever, and it's like they built a community, so to speak, and it's like little sister gets a new boyfriend, it's like, you're the new man on campus, so you're coming into it, so it's always, I feel like when you're dating anyone that's in a tight-knit family, it's always going to be like a little bit of, not necessarily animosity, but a little bit of like
outsider syndrome.
Yeah, outsider syndrome, like kind of protective or whatever. Especially, just people are super protective of their daughters anyway. Just like, that's just life. So it's like, it's a lot of things going into it. So I feel like, like you said, like the dude is just cards are stacked against him. It seems like, and he just. And he just outshining everybody. Like, shit, sorry, I need her 3 dozen more, bro.
She happy, he happy, they good.
And it's like, I'm thinking about this too. It's like, because when I was reading this, like, I read it as like from the guy's point of view. But then I read it like, if I was the parents, and I was like, if Emma's dating this person, and they just buying her roses, and she loves roses, it's like, I'm happy.
Yeah.
If my daughter's happy,
yeah,
I'm happy.
So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna shit on 2 little knuckleheads that's not really women.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
like
your sons-in-laws.
Yeah. I'm like, listen, you dipshits. This is how you treat This is how you treat your partner.
Yeah. That's why. That's the gaslighting is the thing that gets me. It's like, why? Come on, parents. Come on, make this make sense, please.
The gaslighting. I didn't realize that till you said it. I did pick all the gaslighting ones.
Man, it pisses me off because that's the thing that makes sane people feel crazy. It's like, I know I'm not crazy.
Especially in that situation was like him and his girl are like, he's like, had too much. She's like, no. And the sister's like, no, you did too much. You got like the 2 other husbands, and like mom and dad are like, nah, bro, you did too much. It's like, huh?
How?
You're out here buying all these roses twice.
That's crazy.
What you trying to do with my girl that you've been dating for 3 years?
So dumb.
We don't make that much money. Apologize.
Apologize to me. Apologize to me because I don't make enough money to treat my girl good. And you make too much money. You treat your girl too good.
Mm-hmm.
Learn how to cook, dudes. Just learn how to cook. She'll appreciate you for it.
So even as a man, I don't know if I have the balls to say that to another man.
Oh no!
I don't make enough money to treat my girl.
I would internalize and feel shitty about myself. That's as a human. That's what I would do.
You know how much gall you have to do to walk up to a dude like, bro, I hate you because you spend too much money on your girl, and I can't do that. It's like, dude, like, I couldn't say that.
I don't think you're supposed to even realize that, man. That's something you're supposed to go to a psychologist to learn about.
Oh man,
I get super sad to have character development, and it would make me like work harder at work. to make more money.
Oh man,
Yeah, that's kind of how I do it. But then, like, I know myself, I'll work harder for like 6 months, and I'd be like, go back. Man, fuck this
Same,
shit.
same.
Yeah,
Say,
yeah.
Valentine's Day is shitty anyway. So,
oh man.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
yeah, it is what it is.
But we're on to our new topic. Breeze, you want to get us into it?
Oh, for sure. So, last week we did mention that we were going to watch a movie, but for reasons that
It's okay, Breezy.
That
I
one-
forgive you.
that I won't go
It's
into.
all
We
right,
didn't get
man.
to. We didn't get to do that segment last week. So this week
That
we're
was
gonna do
me.
2 movie segments.
That was me,
And,
people.
And it's okay because Ryan did watch 4 hours of delicious horror movies, and we are caught up. So this episode we'll be reviewing 2 awesome movies: The Thing and Invasion of the Body Snatchers,
1978 version.
1978 version, and
The
The
Thing,
Thing. There's a couple
1982.
different Thing versions, I think, as well.
We saw 1982
Yeah,
version.
it was like 80 something. Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Yep. So yeah, we just get started.
Which one are you talking about first?
I watched The Thing first.
Okay, same.
Me
Okay.
too.
We all watched The Thing first. Okay. So how'd you guys feel about The Thing?
You wanna go first, Ryan?
Yeah.
All right, go for it.
Ooh. So first, let's get the elephant out of the room. Among Us. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
it was.
It's Among Us.
This is where Among Us started from.
That's the whole everything Among Us,
Yep.
the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Also RE4, also Parasite.
Oh yeah, RE4. Holy crap, man!
Yeah.
I saw a whole bunch of death sequences
Yeah.
in RE4.
Oh, this one?
Watching. Yep, that
Oh.
one. Oh, face clamp.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Parasite, one of my favorite peak animes. Loved it.
I didn't quite finish it. Saw a lot of it, but I didn't quite finish Parasite.
You should finish it.
But
Really good.
yeah. So about the Thing, suspense masterpiece in a way that they kind of just don't do nowadays. It's like it's really something. And before I go any further, anyone who hasn't seen The Thing and Invasion of the Body Snatchers, I suggest you just skip ahead to the time stamp that I'm going to have someone edit in right now. Masterpieces.
Spoilers.
Spoilers all day.
Spoilers all day. You need to watch these movies. But for The Thing, kill all humans.
Yeah.
Incredible. Movies just don't have downer endings like that anymore.
It's the ending that's open to interpretation.
Yes.
That's what I liked
Yeah,
about it.
I like it. And it was a better ending to me than Inception because it made more sense. If I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes, because they were just like, we're going to do whatever we can to keep it from any humanity.
Yeah.
Did we?
And they were like, yo, man, even if we did or didn't, it doesn't matter because we're both about to die. So why don't we just not even worry about it?
Yep.
So we have no idea how it ends. No sequels to the movie.
No, just a prequel.
Just a prequel,
Just a
but
prequel.
no sequels. They did not turn this into a money cash cow trash fiesta like they did so many other visionary movies that eventually just got turned into action series in the 80s. I'm not going to say any names, but you know,
Most of the ones you can.
if you know, you know.
Fair. Yeah.
Just I love just downer endings that are just like, this isn't a story where survivors survive, you know?
Yeah.
Humans don't necessarily win in these, and that gives it a whole sort of somberness that I just don't see nowadays.
Which was perfectly matched by the credits theme after. When
Yeah.
they cut to it, you get that 80 synth of haunting melancholy.
Yeah.
Man, I listened to that credits thing about 3 times after the movie ended because I was just in that moment, just like, damn, this was a good movie. Like, holy shit.
What my favorite part was the character interactions. Like that's what sold it to me, because like how people deal with grief and how people deal with loss in so many different ways, and they gave you every range of like emotion, like people going through different emotion. Like it was just that was my favorite part. Like seeing everyone kind of spiral into madness and then like get to a certain point and like rally out of it to only get dropped right back in that hole to try to come out of it again.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and then the things too is like I love the layers of it. So like one, like you're in Antarctica and it's like, all right, cool, you're in Antarctica. I mean, like it's kind of isolated, so it's ice. It's like that's cool.
Yeah.
But then like you're in this like I
community
type deal or whatever.
It was like an army base, right?
I want to say
it was a army
outpost.
research of some sort.
Yeah. Outpost.
So you get these researchers or whatever. So you get like, so that's an easy way to get like all these different types of personalities and stuff. And I love how they had like, everyone had like their different job codes and stuff, and they kind of did like, different personalities and stuff. So like you had, and then they slowly show you like the character interactions, like who likes who doesn't like who, like who's cool with who. And then like, so you get that, and like that builds up a little bit of the tension. And then like, the dog coming in, and it's like, all right.
The opening.
And the opening is like, why are these dudes shooting at the dog? Like,
I love stuff like that. They come in, dude, start screaming in Norwegian. You're just like, you have no idea what the hell's going on. Mm. You find out that some hickey shit happened sometime back, but you never really get to know what happened to them. But you do get to know what happened to them when it happens to you.
But it was cool too that like, because I feel like a movie made now, someone will magically know Norwegian. Like somebody would be there and be like, oh, my grandma was Norwegian and I know a couple of phrases. And I was like that they really had no idea what they were talking about. They just knew that there was like, they went off, they tried to shoot them, whatever. You get this chaos at the beginning, and then like after the dog comes in, it's like you get to the part that's like, then the snow starts, and then it's like the snow starts. It's like, all right, well, what do we do? Because it's like snowing, we can't go outside, but the thing can go outside, and it can go anywhere, but we can't go anywhere. So it's like it did what I really really enjoy from movies. That like it gives you bite-sized pieces of everything, all, and then it pieces them together in a way that like when you get those points, like the first time you see the monster, it's just like, what the fuck? And it's like, I think it still holds up pretty good. Like it gives you the, I mean, could it be better now? Yeah, obviously it can be better, but it's like it
wouldn't be better because CG is too clean.
Because it felt. I felt uncomfortable looking at it, and the longer I looked at it, the more I felt uncomfortable. So I'm like, all right, you're doing your part with it.
Yeah, that was meaty. Those are some very moist creations they made there.
Man, when it became like a head with the eyes shooting out,
the legs when it went under the desk, creepiest part to me.
Oh man,
dude, just like the still mode when you saw that. One half of the face was twisted up here, and the other half was
the first time.
CG can't do that.
Nah,
that required an artist. And I mean, shout outs to the CG creators though. They are artists, but
that was a sculptor.
Their tools are too powerful. And movie makers tend to nowadays crutch on that power instead of taking something limited, like what a sculptor can get their hands on, and working with that and making it what you need it to be.
I like that you use your unlimited too. I love the fact that like it was a big compound, but literally you just had like outside and inside. And that was it. You didn't have these complicated like backdrops or anything. It was pretty much like office, laundry room, kitchen. Like normal stuff. Like you can honestly probably could have shot it in the house, to be honest. With like all the just.
It did have an absurdly spacious sewer though.
Oh yeah. that was the movie set.
That was weird when they went downstairs, and I'm like, dude, you had this shit all. Why is it so fucking messy down there, man?
I don't actually. Now that you say that,
well, they have been there for 4 years, 5 years, or whatever.
So. Right, man. Being there for 5 years doesn't turn that shit into Silent Hill.
You're right.
You're right. I was suddenly reminded of Resident Evil Code Veronica when they went down there. I mean, the whole setting is, Code Veronica definitely watched it.
I was thinking about a Resident Evil 4 the second time you meet a regenerator down in the prison.
Oh yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, that was a weird one. But I also liked that I didn't realize so many people were in that movie.
Oh, Keith David.
Keith David.
That was pretty cool.
You guys didn't recognize one person who was in there. I saw the credits.
What?
I saw the credits.
Hold on.
You guys will never guess.
Was it Gary? He was like the commander?
No, not Gary. The guy who they locked up in the shed.
Oh.
You guys will never guess who he is.
The doctor?
Yeah, the doctor.
Blair.
Who was like
his name was Blair.
Who was like putting the spaceship together? Yeah, Blair. Was it Blair?
His name was Blair.
Okay.
That was Blair.
The guy with the glasses who they locked in the shed. You guys will never guess who that is. Diabetes.
What?
Wilford Brimley.
That's him.
That's Wilford Brimley.
Man.
But all right.
Yeah, I had to. I looked at the credits and I was like, Wilford Brimley. I looked it up, and then, young Wilford Brimley in the thing.
I mean, everyone else I can recognize. Like everyone else I recognize, like Kurt Russell, you can imagine him. His
Solid Snake.
Yeah, just Kurt Russell in there. And once you hear Keith David,
the moment, and then I looked at his face and I was like, yeah. So part that pissed me off though was at the beginning, Kurt Russell playing chess with the computer, and this motherfucker just poured his whole beer in the computer.
That was 80s. That was just like an 80s.
I know, but my thing is like in the 80s, that computer was probably like 2 bands.
For sure. For sure.
That was
the most unrealistic thing in the movie.
It really needed a guitar riff after he did that. Then you guys have been all right with it.
No, because my thing was, because think about this, is like, all right, we're in the middle of fucking nowhere, right? In the first couple of scenes, they're yelling at what's his nuts to get to find a radio signal, and you have a computer, but this motherfucker just poured a beer down the computer.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, the internet wasn't really a thing.
They probably only had like a couple of different spreadsheets on there.
They probably had ARPA, you know. They could have put something out there.
No, it was great, man. It was I liked the parts of it that they weren't afraid to chew the fat. That was the amazing portion of it.
I mean, just like talk to each other and
because they were like characters.
That is true.
Yeah, they're like actually
people, and they had people interactions.
Yeah, and
that was just great acting.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Each person knew their assignment, and they were that. It felt like what you would be in that situation. Because one thing I didn't notice about the movie until like halfway into it, it was all guys. There were like no women in the movie at all. But it was realistic because it was like a little science outpost at the time.
Science outpost in the middle of Antarctica.
Yeah. So and it felt like dudes kind of in the military, like who just they got banter, they just talk shit, you know. Yeah, they respect each other. It's a brotherhood.
They don't like each other, but they have to work because chain of command.
And it wasn't just like the Disney dick in there, like the guy who was just a dick for no reason. It was
they were all dicks.
They were all dicks, right? And there were lines that wouldn't be crossed between them. You could tell.
Yeah,
it really did feel like a brotherhood.
Yeah,
you know.
True. Once one of those dogs, once he had to kill one of the dogs, and the dog lover guy saw that, that was a line crossing moment for him.
Yeah.
And after that line was crossed, he went and did crossed some lines.
Yeah. And it was you add the paranoia on top of that, because at that point everybody was fucking paranoid.
Bro, and everyone's sus.
Yeah, everybody's sus. The most intense scene in the movie was the scene in the room where he was like doing the
testing the blood.
Yeah, that was super intense.
That was the only I got nerves of steel because I played Resident Evil 4, so I've lived the thing basically.
Yeah,
but that was the closest point where I almost jumped.
Oh,
because
I did jump
when the dude did it. It was just I didn't expect that, man. It was like I thought that it would just like wiggle a little bit, but no, man, that thing boogied the fuck out of there.
So I can say this. So like all the movies we've been watching, like I've been buying them on 4K just because I haven't had them, and I was like I wanted to watch it.
Well, if you watching it on that up there, holy shit, man!
Yeah, no, it got me. As I said, I jumped too, but I was like, it was that was another thing I was gonna say too. Is like the movie held up pretty good in 4K too. Like my only beef with it is like cheesy 80 sounds. Like the cheesy 80 sounds.
That is a problem I have.
The stuff I have for my music is too good for the cheesy 80 sound, so it just sounds bad. But besides that, like I have no complaints about like
that punch sound sounded just as bad in mine too. In mine, it's like, man, they talk in like MP4, but then man, when they punch in MIDI.
I was wondering why I used to make them sound as a kid. Then I watched these older movies, and it made sense.
Yeah, that was just and it had like the some of the things had like a ringing to it or like extra stuff to it. But I mean, like
no worse than our episode 3.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I hope no one goes back and looks at it. Oh shit! I'm gonna edit this out.
Yikes.
But yeah, it was a good movie. It was a good call, Breezy. Like it and actually put in perspective, like you said, like you guys said, like Resident Evil and like all those other things that it definitely derived from. So like we've seen the movie, without actually seeing the movie. Yeah. But I'm glad we watched the source material though.
Oh yeah, the source material, as good as the stuff that copied it is, the original is a must watch because it just they actually do that idea, and you don't feel like with a lot of times you go back to the source material, you've been there, done that, but this still felt fresh.
Yeah.
Like entirely fresh.
Because then too, like you know, the human side of it is like you put yourself, you know, you'll tend to pick a character, like pick somebody like you kind of identify with, and like kind of like, all right, how would I react in this situation? Like, what can I do? What would I do? How would I work around it? And it's just like, you know, and it's like, it's very interesting to see. I always like trying to see who's going to die off, like trying to figure out like, all right, how's it going to happen, whatever. And I was surprised. Like, it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. Mm-hmm. And like, it kind of got me at like almost every point on who was, besides Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell, I knew he was going to say, well, you know, survive, quote unquote, because he's Kurt Russell. But everyone else though was kind of like, I didn't think Keith Davis was going to make it, bro.
Me neither.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. I kind of thought that. I mean, if I had like went into it, I kind of thought it was gonna be Kurt Russell, the Doctor, and maybe one of the radio guy.
I honestly didn't know who. I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, I messed up at every turn.
Every turn. Like, I caught up.
No, that one scene, the blood scene, basically just I had no hope after the blood scene.
Yeah, because I'm like, you think dude is safe the whole time, and it's like the dude they were merciless with that flamethrower though. Oh, that flamethrower, merciless. Anyone can get that flamethrower.
Oh man. Okay, but the ending. Let's talk ending. So again, open to interpretation. The ending, I'll just kind of give a brief explanation of it. At the very end, we get two survivors. You get Kurt Russell and Keith David. Keith Davis, the whole movie, kind of like the rival. At a certain point, he kind of at a certain point he tries to take the gun from Kurt Russell and kind of step up as the leader. But at that point, Kurt Russell doesn't trust him. He trusts himself, but doesn't trust Keith David at that point. There's mutual respect because they're both leaders, and they're both like I guess alphas. But at the very end, those are the last two left. But the thing had already like run roughshod and. It had already run roughshod and it had took over quite a few people and killed whoever else was left. So at the very end, we have two survivors, and one of them could possibly be the Thing. Right. And Keith David spent a considerably amount of time off camera.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it could be this. It could be Keith Davis the Thing, and Kurt Russell's the only one left as a human. It could be Kurt Russell's the Thing because Kurt Russell had just done like a 15-minute battle with the actual Thing, and there was an in-between time we didn't see, you know, the death of the Thing and Kurt Russell traveling to where Keith David was. Or they could both be human. Those are our options.
But I'll also point out in the ending, at the ending, the building has been destroyed. Mm-hmm. They're trapped in the Antarctic. There's an Antarctic storm going around.
Yeah.
They're being warned because the building is burning down, but that's not going to last forever. Mm-hmm. And once it lasts forever, if they're humans, they're going to freeze to death. If they're the Thing, they're going to survive the freezing. Eventually, the U.S. Army is going to come to investigate. They're going to find the Thing, and the Thing is going to be let loose in America. It's going to win. And the thing is, because of the situation that they're in, with no way to contact anyone, no way to escape, it doesn't matter if the game's over, basically. It doesn't matter if they're both humans or if they're both things. There's nothing that anyone can do to survive anymore.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to backpedal like 5 minutes before there. And it's my same beef I had with the entirety of JoJo Season 4. When the one dude went off by himself, when he saw the Thing crawl across the floor, and he went by himself, like, that pissed me off. Because I was just like, at that point, that told me, like, y'all just need to kill him off. Y'all never have real rage to kill him off. Because it's like, that trope, I absolutely hate. In any type of horror, survival, any type of movie like that, when a character goes off by themselves and doesn't say anything, and it's like, when you spent 90% of the movie saying, like, don't do that.
Don't split the party.
Yeah, and it's like that pissed me off. So like, if I got like one beef about it, it was that scene. Because like you take that scene out, masterpiece. And I mean, I think it still is a masterpiece, but it's like that. It broke the illusion for me because I was like, this is dumb.
Well, yo, to be fair, we may be talking about the movie that created the trope in the first place.
It's possible.
That's possible. But then I hate the thing even more for making the damn trope because I hate that trope.
Hey, they just played their situation straight. You know, they're like, yo, if you leave, you can get basically assassinated by a Solid Snake over here. Fitting, since Solid Snake is in the movie.
Yeah.
By the way, fun fact: Solid Snake, mostly based upon Snake Plissken from Escape from New York, was it?
Possibly a movie that we might review one day.
And Snake Plissken was played by
Kurt Russell.
Yep. Anyway, but
you see his luxurious hair, it makes sense.
He has some gorgeous hair.
Yeah.
Gorgeous hair.
Handsome man. I will say that.
Anyway, we may be talking about the movie that actually created the whole skitter across the screen trope. So, you know, they can do it because they're not savvy from the horror movies yet. Nowadays.
That's fair. I just, that just took me, I was just butthurt. I was like, because it was like, you know, it was a couple parts that were kind of like, you know, slower parts in the movie. Overall, too, I kind of feel like the movie could have been a little bit shorter. Because it's like, some of the scenes I just felt was kind of drawn out.
That's actually what I liked about it. I like the fact that it put you in that scene. It kind of had you with the characters. I like the fact that it wasn't afraid to chew the fat a little bit.
Yeah, and that's fair. Because I'm like, I definitely get that. It's just like, even the opening scene, like them shooting at the dog. That went on.
Fair enough.
Too long.
That dude took a lot of shots that he didn't need to.
Because that's why I was so I was like going into the movie. I was really confused because I'm like, one, I gotta get it because he wasn't a rifleman. Because like in my head, like the first thing you watch, I'm like, dude, this is the rifleman in this helicopter. Why is he so terrible at the shot? And then you figure out like, oh no, he's just random scientist A that had a gun. So it's like, all right, cool. But like that scene was a little too long. And there's a couple other scenes that were like a little long, but I mean like that's minor.
I forgot in the beginning though. This is the '80s, so they were doing the rolling credit intro.
Yeah,
so
that
I
was
okay. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean.
I like all the little clues they give you towards the start of it too, because all the clues are awesome. But one of my favorite parts towards the beginning is like the slapstick way the Norwegian scientist died.
You just threw the grenade up in the air.
Yeah, that was pretty. I like a little bit of comedy, like the darker movies.
Yeah, well played. And I again too, that's why I like all the character interactions because like the banter you got from it. Because I mean, they pretty much told each other that they each individually told each other to fuck off for like the first 5 minutes in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Ooh, which one of you disrespectful men put your pajamas in my trash can?
just in 80s banter is just good in general too.
Yeah.
It's just chaos. Chaos.
I do miss that. I miss just characters being characters, like, and just chewing up the scene. You know, even you know, they aren't necessarily like they aren't generic, but they aren't like, you know, like super duper.
They seem realistic people because like, they're not super over the top. Like, you know, they have their likes, their dislikes. You know, and you have your character dynamics or however they're your character web. Thank you. Yep. Yeah. So overall,
good watch.
Good watch.
How you guys feel overall? I don't know if you guys want to do like a score or something.
Do out of 10? Out of 5?
I don't really. I'm just trying to see how you guys feel. But I like
overall, I'm glad you had me watch it.
Absolutely
enjoyed it. I'm not the biggest horror movie fan, but like
I could do more like this.
Yeah, but it was more suspenseful, more thriller. Yeah, so like that I like. I just, you know, and so it's like you can definitely tell it defined the genre. Like it's definitely one of those things that like everyone was like.
The crazy thing was when it first came out, it didn't do that well. It only did well. Yeah, it was actually a failure when it first came out. Didn't even. I don't even think it made back its what it spent.
Shit.
Yeah, it didn't become a cult classic until years and years later.
Dang.
It's probably when everyone realized that, like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. One of those, huh?
Yeah, initially critics hated it. It didn't do too well. It did.
Well, I can understand why critics hate it, because at the time it was a 2-hour movie, and at the time I think the longest movie was like $1:20, $1:30 at anything.
Mm.
So like a lot of those 2-hour movies at the time in like the late '70s, early '80s, they got a lot of bad rating because of that. Because I did a report, not a report, but like it was part of my my movies class, my historical movies class, because they talked about like how movies have just naturally gotten longer because stories are getting more complicated. Effects are getting better, so you can linger on scenes and stuff more. So I was like, just an interesting little hot take.
Okay, I figured that if it didn't do well, it may have been critically. It may have been like because of the ending, because downer endings tend to do worse. Most people they just want to see the hero win, and I'm like, this is like, yo, man. Either the hero died or he's gonna die when he freezes to death, and you don't even know if humanity is doomed or not. The end. That can rub some people the wrong way.
Yeah, especially when you like literally got action movies where like dudes are just blowing big guns and kiss the beautiful girl and explosion behind them and the credits roll. So, I mean,
people want to feel powerful. They don't want to feel powerless.
I like the mixture in this one though, because it was a very human movie. Nobody was like a superhero with it. It took like a lot of willpower for them to even be like, all right, let's save the world if we can do it. Let's
like, we may have to die here.
Yeah, he said we're gonna fucking die. Let's at least save the world while we're at it. And they hopefully,
because I mean that itself takes a lot of balls to like realize that like you are going to die, but like you can at least do what you can to save the next man, or the rest of the known population.
I like if you're gonna have a save the world thing. I love the fact that it's isolated and nobody's gonna know about this shit. Y'all are just gonna be corpses by the time the rest of the world.
That's what do they call that? That test. It's like taking a cart back in the parking lot. Like if no one sees you doing something like I forget what it's called, but it's like to measure how you can measure how good of a person someone is by like what they do when no one else is around.
Right.
It's like the cart test. Like if you get your groceries in the car, do you take it back to the cart corral, or do you just leave it out in the middle of nowhere?
Right. Yeah.
And it's like I'm going to die here, but I'm going to save as many other people as I can. Yeah. And it's like, all right, cool.
Yeah. Sack up moment, and I love the fact that they were just humans. They were just dudes. They could be killed easily, but they had a mission and they were going to do it. Yeah. And die.
Just flamethrower. All you need is a flamethrower and some wits, and you be good.
Flamethrower and shotgun.
All right. Guess we can move on to the next one. This one I'm really curious about because I'm sure we all have very similar opinions on the thing, but the next one, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. How'd you guys feel about that one?
Okay, so it was a slow burn.
Yeah.
To be honest, I had to force myself to sit through it in certain parts. Like for the first 30 minutes when, the weird shit is slowly building up, but it's not actually happening. I did kind of trail off sometimes during there. But to be honest, I would say, I think like the moment Jeff Goldblum showed up, he actually sort of like kept me from falling asleep.
So like, when I read the like you see the intro or whatever, and you're like, let's say Jeff Goldblum, sorry. So like my head, I'm thinking of the Jeff Goldblum I know now, where he's like this big character, like he's this big person, like he's been in everything, knows everybody. But then I had to like reset my expectation because I'm like, he's probably like a child in this movie, and then he just comes in, he's just talking nonsense.
Yeah,
for like
first scene,
he's just
for like 20 minutes. The first scene he's in, first 3 or 4 scenes he's in, he's just talking nonsense.
Like, who let their little brother upset?
That's what it seemed like. Like I didn't know, was he supposed to be here?
He came in like a moody teenager, and he was just mad at the world. He was yelling. He's pissed. Comes in with a book, and he's like, "Fuck this guy! This guy is shit."
No, did you see Kiefer Sutherland?
Yeah,
Kiefer Sutherland. You
no.
Is it Donald Sutherland? Yeah, okay. Yes, Donald's dad. So Donald Sutherland is just kind of like trying to be big brother. Like, yeah. But if you just go over here, please.
Yeah.
Wait, what was their relationship in the movie? He just
They were just old friends.
They were just friends. Yeah.
Boys.
It was like a lot of quirky characters all of a sudden.
Okay, yeah.
It's Spock.
So
yeah,
I had the dumbest moment in my life because I'm like, I read Leonard Nimoy like when the screen came up, and I'm like, who? I know Leonard Nimoy. I know this name. And then he comes in on screen, and like the first time you see like a side view, and he's like hugging his lady's face or whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, this guy's weird. And then like I'm looking at him, he has this one scene where he does like one of these, and I'm like, Spock? Yeah. And I'm just like, Leonard Nimoy is Spock. And I'm like, you're a moron.
Well, yeah, suddenly Xehanort comes in.
Yeah.
And
Seaman.
You know, just hair.
Yeah.
Everyone's
hair
hair.
And teeth.
Yes. Teeth. But yeah, so it was a slow burn.
Yeah.
But it did get really eerie really quickly. Mm-hmm. And then it just got this the paranoia, I feel, in here was even worse than in the thing. Mm-hmm. Because there's something about just having a few people in a isolated place who may or may not be creeps, and it's another thing of being out in the middle of a crowded city street and you have people just stop and just start grimming you and
screaming.
You know that they're coming after you eventually. So I'm not sure what to say about it, but there was a point in the movie where it went from suspense to action all of a sudden, and I feel like that part may have kind of spoiled the magic of it, because I don't feel like it was meant to be an action film. This was best when it was suspense, and when it turned to an action film, you know, he's running over rooftops, you know, burning down buildings and stuff. That was, I guess, it was ultimately futile, wasn't it? Yeah. So, what do you guys feel about it? How'd you enjoy it?
So I hated that little love story plot that was there. Like,
that was weird.
It was super weird because it's like they presented them
like, are they married? It's like, are they having an affair?
That's the thing. It's like because they presented them like as like friends, and like he wanted to smash, but like she was like clearing a relationship with the other dude, and like it was kind of like, you know, it's that way. Like I kind of have feelings for you, but like we're still good enough friends. Like I'd rather be your friend or whatever. And that was the weirdest fucking kiss.
Oh, yeah.
When they were under this
1970s, we're about to die kiss.
Yeah. And I was like, that took me out. The action, the switch from the switch of genre in the movie was kind of weird, but like I kind of got it in the moment because it's like, I think it was kind of like the situation at the end where it's like, you know, I'm going to die. Like I think I'm going to die, so it's like do what I can to kind of the first like 30 minutes of the movie, I think you just fucking cut that out completely. Because it was
weird. It was the required setup, but it was,
and I don't think it is. Like I think honestly, you could have did with that first 30-35 minutes of the movie, you could have did in like a 10 minute scene.
I'm curious how the original did it in the 50s, because this one very much so felt 70s. It felt so quirky. Like the characters were like these smart, affluent, neurotic, weird characters.
Yeah, and
they're weird protagonists.
It worked because I liked your so you get Kiefer Sutherland, the main girl Elizabeth, Jeff Goldblum, and I don't remember his wife's name, but like I like the four of them.
Yeah,
they were different enough to be like their own like stand on their own individual legs of their characters.
I like their professions too. Like
they were random.
Yeah, that was different.
Food inspector. Both of them worked in the health department. Then mud spa operator.
Yeah,
the other two, and he was like a poet too.
And it was just to be.
Oh, yeah.
But it was interesting, and I liked the dynamics they had with each other. And like another thing is like in my head, I don't remember. Like as a kid, I remember watching 80 movie. They were super bro-centric. You know what earlier movies I should say I watched. They were super bro-centric, and like it wasn't many females in them, or female leads besides like the damsel in distress. So it was like nice to see like they had women in the movies, but they were also intelligent women, and they actually had like a role in the movie. And they weren't just like ass and titties.
The best one was Jeff Goldblum's girl. She was like smart, and
super smart,
and she had a vendetta. She held a grudge.
She had a spine.
Yeah.
Whereas the main female lead was sort of like a damsel.
Yeah. She was more damsel for sure. But the thing that I that kind of got me though is like I didn't know how she was surviving. the midst of, like, she said, like, to turn off your emotions and, you know, just kind of walk through them or whatever. But to me, it felt like that aspect of the movie felt like it was kind of turned on and turned off, like, whenever needed.
She did it. The only reason other characters fell was because they had the damsel with them. Because she messed it up.
Think about it.
Yeah. She messed it up. She twisted her ankle and then, you know.
Dang, she was just dead weight afterwards. Now I think about it.
Remember the dog with the man's face?
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah. She just screamed. And that warned the whole crowd that they were, you know.
I mean, I didn't scream watching it, but I definitely made a face, though.
I was just like, me. I didn't expect sudden body horror, you know?
I knew it was going to happen because when they tried to wake him up, I'm like, you're going to fuse these two fucking characters. They're going to fuse the dog and the man together. I just knew it was going to happen.
Dang.
Yeah.
Oh, that one scene was weird. So, another thing, too, that got me is like, all right, so when they called the cops, when he took Elizabeth out the apartment, and like they called the cops, and the cops got there, and they, you know, obviously her body wasn't there, but I'm like, that room with all them plants and shit, no one thought that was weird though, because in my head I'm like, all right, it's not a body here, but like this is fucking weird because this is the middle of the house, and you just had this random room in your bedroom that's just completely full of pots and flowers and shit.
That was her actual room though. Before the plant shit, that was her thing. Shit, that was a room.
Was it there?
Yeah, it was there.
Okay, I missed that part. I must have missed that part earlier because I was just like, no one thinks this is weird. Yeah. But that makes sense now.
Because she was a plant hobbyist, and I guess they just had a shit ton of money, so they just had a whole fucking green room in the middle, like next to their bedroom, basically. And that's when they found. She had earlier found like the poop flower.
Yeah, I remember finding the actual flower, the little pink thing at the beginning.
Yeah, how'd you guys feel about the mechanics of the? Because this was kind of the weird part. The mechanics of the alien possession body swapping thing. It's kind of convoluted.
I didn't think it was super convoluted because it was more or less like, you know, a plant that grows people, you know, just copies the DNA and recreates the person. The weird part about it, I will say, is the fact that it deletes the other person.
Yeah,
just
the soul swap thing.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Was supernatural.
I guess I would have rathered it just copy the person, and then like maybe try to kill the original version of itself. I think I would have preferred that, but I was kind of like,
yeah. So I finally at the end I finally understood exactly how the mechanic worked. And it works the same way a slime mold eats, where it envelops the person and just absorbs them. And it apparently it just waits until they fall asleep. And that's why once you fall asleep, it's able to get you from almost anywhere, because the entire city had actually been seeded by that rain. So there was just a fine film of alien fuck plant everywhere, and once you fall asleep, you just start to remember when I told you I was playing Fear and Hunger, and I found a semen house, and I went to sleep in a house of semen, and I turned into semen and died. Well, that's actually exactly what happens in Invasion of the Damn Body Snatchers.
I thought it was that, but on a smaller level. But I think the way you explain it makes it make a lot more sense. Because I thought what was happening was that the pod, their bodies, and they were like like a little bit of a cocoon was spreading over, and there was like stuff we couldn't see. So it's basically what you just explained, but like on a bigger scale, like throughout
yeah. So like anywhere, if you fall asleep and you get 8, you get sent to the nearest pod, and out comes Body Snatcher.
Yeah. It was just the movie, I guess they just didn't have the effects for it. It came off like basically that the Body Snatchers are kind of like absorbing your soul or whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I interpret it too. But right. Yeah. It makes it like make a lot more sense.
I didn't get it until the damsel died, and you see her just straight up.
Yeah.
And finally, we could see that. No, man, this shit happens fast.
Yeah.
Like
because it kind of I guess earlier it does make you think that like it happens like super super slow. The other thing too I thought was weird was like the nosebleed thing. I didn't know what.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I didn't know if that was like a plot point they just didn't do.
It takes your weaknesses. It takes everything to recreate your physical.
Oh, that was what they meant.
Yeah,
it was creating him, and he was weak to saunas because he was skinny as shit. Okay. Yeah. I didn't realize that.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. It just doesn't copy the soul, emotion, whatever gives you your whoosh.
Yeah, I don't. I don't know if it copies the soul or anything. I do know that it eats you and takes your memories. So, yeah. There's another one of those things that you don't get to really know whether or not you actually are you afterwards. Probably not. That's not how eating works. But you can certainly tell you. But say let's talk about the ending. Right? I'm sure this is the part we've all been thinking about.
The ending is the whole reason I wanted y'all to watch the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see how it can be memed, but at the same time, I'll say it was a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Just that last scene, that was horror. It was like it may look dumb. It's dumb when it's taken out of context. But after you watch that entire movie and then see that ending, it's kind of nightmare fuel.
Bro, it is nightmare fuel. Donald Sutherland's face just morphing into evil turtle.
The sound. And, you find out, oh shit, we lost.
Yeah.
And it's like, yes, kill all humans. Yep. I love it. Downer ending all the way.
And her terror, like the fact that she could do all that acting without like moving. She was in one spot. In her full range of terror, you felt it.
Yeah, and I think that's more of a one. It was because there was so many layers of her terror too. Because it was just like, I've been up all night. I finally found a homie. You find out like your last friend is gone. You find out they're actually a body snatcher. You find out you're probably the last person in like the city, and then you got to realize that moment of realizing of defeat, like actual utter defeat.
You are also probably about to either die or experience a fate worse than death.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, I felt her terror in that minute. I was like, damn. Just be taking L's.
To be fair to them, they were very polite about the whole thing. They didn't like beat the shit out of anybody. They didn't like.
Oh man, you don't beat your food before you eat it, do you?
Yeah, they're
Yeah, I mean, they did walk up to him nice. Like, yeah, we're just gonna put you to sleep. Yeah, just go to sleep, and that's it, bro.
Yeah, you remember what Spock said? He's like, "There's, we don't want to harm you.
Yeah.
We come in peace. There won't be any pain or hatred or love after we're done with you.
Yeah,
go to sleep."
Yeah, I mean, out of all the ways to get assimilated or to get to experience that, I think that's fair.
Yeah, especially in the 70s, like everything was about a metal probe being shoved in your ass. So I mean, like this is a nice twist.
I just accept it. Once Donald Sutherland starts screaming at me like that, all right, bro. I might start running, but
Yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah, you ain't gonna get nowhere. Just as a human reflex, like let me just try something. But
yeah.
I kind of. I don't know. Like, it was I like that his character was just odd enough that like that last scene you kind of didn't know until the last scene leading up to the final scene. You didn't really know like maybe is he pretending still? Like is he just turned off his emotions, pretend like he's just to get by to see if he can figure something out, and then you get the all right.
It was enough. It was enough, like you said, enough there to make you go because he kind of looked at the girl and stuff like that a couple times. And at the very end, you pretty much know at that point because it's a big time cut, and before that it's the flashlight into the camera. So it's like, okay, he got caught. So you assume he got caught, but then you're just hoping against hope that he didn't get caught.
Yeah,
and then at the very end of it, scene was perfect.
It was perfect.
The dead trees.
That was a nice creepy touch.
Yeah. The dead trees. That was like, oh man, that's the desolation of the human race, perfectly signified by just rows upon rows of dead trees. And then
this motherfucker right here.
Finish her. And I was pleasantly surprised, but I liked again, there's another movie where I really liked them. I'm just really liking the older movies that just chew the scenery up, where you could just be there. The movie was probably way longer than it should have been, but I actually liked it. I actually liked
like I said, I like when you chew the fat when you got like the characters interacting with each other. I'll take that all day. But like that beginning, that lead up where it's just like stuff is happening that wasn't necessarily referenced or like stuff you can do smaller. It's like, yeah, like if you're gonna do character interaction, take as much time you need to build those characters, build those relationships, because it puts more weight on the decisions that they make later on. But it's like if it's like characters happening or like a scene that needs to actually like you need to take in an entire scene, like maybe it's like a gun on the wall or something that like comes into play later. Like if it doesn't have like elements like that in there, it's like.
And see, that's where I'm of the different mind, because like I definitely noticed that, because in both of these movies, it just gave you more of a it was just world building. It just added to that particular world, and the mentality of it between now and then is that now every scene. I mean, back then every scene meant something because it put you in the world, but now every scene has to convey specific information to you about the plot nowadays. Like
that's true.
Yeah, that's the main difference. Like if I watch The Thing and I watch Invasion of the Body Snatchers, it's like I'm just here. I'm just in this world. The first 15 minutes of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, just kind of filling out the role of Donald Sutherland, his whole world, how his world operates, because it is a strange world. Like all these people, like he knows like a guru, psychic life coach guy.
Yeah.
He knows a poet, mud massager guy. Like it's weird, but it just kind of fleshes out. Honestly, you could put anybody in this role to make the movie more straightforward, but I like the weird, quirky.
Yeah, so I didn't dislike his character at all. I just.
Did you like the scenes of him like doing like the food inspector stuff? Like, cause it's so random.
I have a personal vendetta against just working in restaurants.
Yeah,
like, I just don't like food inspectors because they're dicks. Like they're just dicks. Like don't get me wrong, that food inspector in that place, he did his job because that was a rat turd. That's disgusting.
That's disgusting.
But like, it's just in my experience with like anyone that's been like a health safety type of role, they're just dicks. And it's like. It pisses me off though because it's like I've always worked in like pristinely clean places. Like we've always been like one of our higher standards, like keeping clean, making sure we maintain temperatures and everything. And it's like we're not perfect, so something's off or something's messed up, whatever. You're supposed to have like different rules, different regulations. You get a certain amount of time to fix it. Like certain things that cost are more points. Like if it happens, repeat offenses and whatever. But it's like no matter who it is, they've always just been dicks. And it's like, I get it. You're here to do a job, and like it's a very necessary job, and like you are keeping people alive. Like, but it's like you're still be a human being, bro. And it's just like I've only had like one or two positive experiences with like health inspectors because they're just mean for the sake of being mean, and because it's one of those things. It's like it's a situation where you already know that everyone is on edge when you're in a room. So it's like to me, it feels like. They're the cops that are out to hurt people because it's like people are always on edge because like you're a health department and like and especially and like they target newer employees because like usually you get the same person there and like you find someone that's newer who may not know everything and it's like as a manager you try to teach them and like you can't catch everything and sometimes you just don't give a fuck. I ain't gonna lie.
That happened with me one time actually. I was like the new guy in the kitchen at one of my older jobs and we had the health inspector come and they spent a considerable amount of time just talking to me and I was trying my best not to be a narc.
Yeah, and and this thing too is like it's all those things together that like I don't care for health inspectors. So I mean like I had my biases against them like to begin with, and I was just like ugh. But I mean, still got no beef with his character, whatever. Just like a little bit of personal beef with the assholes of the world. But I mean,
I like how they treated him like a health inspector in the movie.
This the mad disrespect.
Yeah, and then at the end, he came out his windshield all messed up, and they're just standing there.
I mean, you don't know what's me. You don't know,
I'm just smoking a cigarette.
They probably got assimilated anyway. But how did you guys feel about the musical score?
Actually, for this one, I didn't even notice it.
I thought it was bad.
It was bad.
It felt out of place. Like they didn't convey. It wasn't conveying the emotion I think they were trying to convey. If I say that right, yeah. Whatever I was supposed to feel in that scene, the music didn't work well with that.
I agree with that. I felt it was very, very Hitchcocky, and I'll say one thing I'll give movies nowadays: nowadays we know how to use silence to build tension rather than discordant sounds, orchestral soundtracks, or random sound jump scares.
Yeah, because silence is sometimes 10 times more terrifying than anything you can put in the scene.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the recent horror movies, like thinking like Annabelle. Most of that movie. No, wait, wasn't like all that movie. Was there a soundtrack to Annabelle? I don't think so. But I feel like Annabelle had some tension building silence. Video games, Resident Evil knows how to use silence. Holy crap! Silent Hill is all silent.
Yeah,
just all silent. It's scary because of that. Dead Space. It's silent till your ass gets jumped, and then once you get jumped, it turns on the soundtrack. You guys remember that? It's silent till you actually see the enemy, no matter how close to you it is.
The first time it scared the shit out of me because it just goes into this loud ass music, and I'm like, oh, fuck.
And it's meaningful. It's loud because it's fucking here, and it is trying to kill you right now. But mostly in this movie, it was a lot of that orchestral 70s. I was actually gonna say like 50s, old school soundtrack.
Like it was super old school, and it was
like it would have been better if it was just silent in those parts, just no soundtrack. That would have built tension.
Damn, I didn't even know the movie had music.
I think I noticed it so much because of two of the classes I took. One of them, like my video editing class, and our professor, she was like really big into like the music matching. Matching what it is, because we had one of our projects we had to like make a video and like it had to be completely silent. You had to have the music pretty much tell the story for you. And another one was my my storyboarding teacher, and he was just like, his big thing was like, you need to be able to tell your story completely with nothing, no sound, no voices, no everything. Like you should be able to tell your complete story with just storyboarded pictures. And so it's like with those things, like with those in my mind, it's like, so I see like special effects and music are like, they need to be perfect, even better than the movie itself, because it's like you shouldn't have to use those to tell what you need to tell. So it's like I always notice the music and everything, because it's like you shouldn't be here, like you shouldn't need it here. So if it is here, it's like, you know, I'm consuming it. I want it to be the best, you know, because I mean, like you've already you already shot the movie, you already edited the movie. It's just like, we just slapped some fucking ass music on it. It's like, why did you go through steps A through Z already just to go be like,
Just that checklist thing.
Yeah. But one movie I would say I recommend that does the music perfectly is Baby Driver.
Oh yeah, I need to watch that.
That whole music score, that movie did it backwards, where the music tells you the movie instead of the music existing in the movie. Like the whole movie is based around like the music, and the music tells you the story kind of deal. Because like every track and everything, all the music does it, and it's very, very well made.
That's all I hear. I keep hearing that. Just what you just said.
Very, very well. Like probably one of my favorite like score. Like the movie doesn't have like, it's a lot of like music, like actual like songs and stuff, but it's like it's put together so well that like the score, whoever did that, kudos. But yeah, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. So my thing was, I like the thing more. I like the thing a lot more than I like the Invasion of the Body Snatchers. But I didn't dislike Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I thought it was a very well put together movie. I feel like, final thoughts, it could have been shorter. Like Ryan said, take the music out, or you know, remix the music. And I think I think that, in my opinion, takes it from, I say, a mid movie to a high mid, or high, you know, a high tier movie.
Cool. All right. I think Legendary. I love the tone of it, especially at the end. These somber movies, they're just not. They're not movies that you see nowadays. People don't like downers like that, but I personally love downer endings because psychological horror is like my jam. So The Thing and Invasion of the Body Snatchers, chef's kiss. This is exactly what I am into horror movies for. I don't want to see heroes win.
Dang.
Okay. I just don't. So I love it. for Invasion of the Body Snatchers, I kind of wish that they took the action part and just sort of like cut it in half.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that was sort of like a weak point of the movie. The Thing, perfect all the way through.
Nice.
Full stop.
Yeah, I feel like Invasion of the Body Snatchers walked so that Thing could run. I don't think the Thing would have been as strong as it was if Body Snatchers didn't exist. That said, with Body Snatchers, really liked it. I really liked the quirky characters. I really liked they really took advantage of the 70s setting. Like, that movie is super 70s. And I appreciate movies like that too, where you can look at it and see, like, the period piece. And, just see how life was back then. I wasn't expecting the quirky ass characters. I wasn't expecting them to be, like, affluent. In a lot of ways, they were kind of unlikable. But, that made them kind of likable to me just because it was a bunch of them together and they bounced off each other really well, like you said, with the characters. Jeff Goldblum was weird, him coming in there, and
his whole existence in that movie was kind of out of pocket, but
I think a lot of characters in that movie were kind of out of pocket.
Fair, yeah.
They say when things start to get boring, just throw in a gun, right?
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum was that gun.
I hate this book. I'm like, what does he do? That one scene when they were over talking each other. I'm like, what is this scene?
Oh,
like, what are we doing here?
Let's not talk about the scene when they walked out the house and like when he went to go get her help. And like Leonard Nimoy just saw Jeff Goldblum walking around, he just pinned him up. He's like, he's like, "How did that make you feel?" And I'm like,
"That's what I mean." Like, that's
like, what?
That's what all the random characters like just came to it because it was a very straightforward movie until like they introduced Leonard Nimoy and Jeff Goldblum in the same scene. Then it just went full chaotic. Then I was just like, "Who are these bohemian, crazy, affluent, rich weirdos?" But then that made me like the movie even more because it was kind of quirky. I do agree the action part was weird. It almost felt obligatory. I think the movie would have been better focused if it was like... I guess The Thing had its action parts too, but it
fit in The Thing.
It fit in The Thing.
In The Thing, this was a fight.
Yeah.
This is a... It wasn't like an action movie fight. This was like a fight to the death.
Yeah.
Against a wild animal.
Yeah.
And a biohazard at the same time.
Right.
So
I would say,
That's crazy because they were two completely... It was the same threat, but they were two completely different... You got two completely different vibes from it. The Body Snatcher was like a little bit more chill than The Thing. The Thing was just like... If you went dark alone, I'm going to snatch you up.
We didn't know enough about the Body Snatchers for them to fight it like they did in The Thing. Like, for instance, I didn't realize how it was working until the very last death, when the damsel died.
Yeah.
And I realized that because she died in the middle of butt-fuck nowhere after falling asleep, I was like, wait a minute. I remember the friggin' rain seeded the whole city. That's why she died.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know it until you explained that to me 20 minutes ago. We were talking about it.
But in The Thing, they had the magical 1982 computer that did that very riveting animation that showed you how assimilation worked. Remember that?
Yeah.
That's exactly how assimilation works.
It gave me the point across.
Yeah.
Like with them pixelated pictures, I mean, it worked. It really worked.
And they also knew that fire worked somehow because they saw all that gasoline from before and all those burned bodies. So they were able to figure it out that, hey, this thing hates fire.
Yeah.
We have random fucking flamethrowers for some reason. I didn't mean to... I forgot about that, but...
I assume
they usually bring that shit
I accepted it because they're in Antarctica, so I assumed they would need a flamethrower to, like, melt ice for some reason or other. I
don't even know what they were researching, so I couldn't.
I don't know.
Oh, man, researching grass types? Yeah,
I'm just saying, if you were in the middle of an ice wasteland...
Okay, I do bring my Charizard with me.
That's what I'm saying. If you're going to Ice Tundra Land, bring some fire.
But that's because I expect to find some pillow swine and some cloisters.
How do they like narrow out? How do they make caves in Antarctica? Do they dig it out, or do they like flamethrower it out?
Let's go flamethrower because it sounds cool.
I'm gonna say flamethrower just because it's like they always seem like
clean.
circular. Yeah. So I mean,
all right, but Yeah. The thing they had the training, they had the equipment, they had the knowledge to fight back,
and they were technically military. It wasn't like a military base per se, but it was.
They would at least have basic training.
Yeah, they all went through boot, and to be honest, they also freaking outnumbered their enemies, which is something the Body Snatchers cannot say.
So that's the thing about the Body Snatcher. Like, it was chill, right? Like, it just waited for you to fall asleep until they just got tired of Donald Sullivan shit. They were like, if they didn't take those steroids, they would have put him to sleep right there.
That is true, man. Take 5.
Dude, when he said that, I was just like what? Because it was speed, like straight up speed. I'm like, bro.
And he knew. He was like, we gotta stay up for days. Like, fuck it. But the threats, okay, the Body Snatchers were passive, and the Thing was more active, but the Body Snatchers was a way bigger threat because they multiplied so fucking fast.
So fast.
They were like already on like military ships, you know, within like, I don't know how the time difference, but within at least like a week or a couple of days.
Probably say it's a week, but yeah.
Yeah, they were already harvesting big ass plants, sending them to elsewhere. I feel like Sutherland and them just found out about it late because it must have already been in operation.
That was my thought too. Is like they find like it was already a thing, and they found it late because like that actually makes sense with Parasite too. Where I really liked Parasite. So it's tiny bit of a spoiler for Parasite is that it takes place in like one place in Japan, but they make a reference that it's going on across the world. But the story only follows Japan. Like, you never get like a world view. You only get like a very isolated view. So like in my head, looking at it, I kind of just assumed it was kind of like that. Like, it was already a thing existing, and like the main characters were just finding out about it. So I was like,
yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because I mean, like you said, they were all fucking ships going everywhere. So.
Yeah, it was, man. It was a wrap because by the time he tried to leave, you know, big ass plants everywhere already.
His face at that point,
yeah, it was Dunzo.
Yeah, he's just a man defeated. Then he goes back and I'm like, Elizabeth, he just holding her like,
he goes back and his girl dies.
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah,
she literally folds into herself in his arms.
Yep. She got
okay. She came back better right afterwards though.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was like, yeah, just come on, bro, it's good. You know,
join us,
chilling.
Join us. Also, this is like, it's funny to me. If this didn't exist, this is the most important thing right here. If this didn't exist, there would be no baby in Dragon Ball GT.
Is that true?
This walk so that baby could soar.
For a writer, I don't know if you understand the definition of soar. So we're gonna look into that on camera.
Hey, baby possessed Vegeta, man. There's baby Vegeta. That's it. That's the movies you watch.
Yeah. So I mean, like, you know, guys, like, let us know what you felt, how you felt. Did you watch them? Did you not watch them? Are you gonna watch them now because we talked about them? If not, it's cool too. But as usual, may your bed stay warm and your pillow stay cold.
All right. Stay perfect, chat.
Peace.